Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, a good old-fashioned rant. Like, dislike, comment, subscribe, resubscribe if you've been unsubscribed. Okay, the other day, against my better judgment, I watched a film called Stowaway. Now, some of you may know I generally don't watch that many films because I lack the attention span, and plus if a film is shit and you've spent like 2 or 3 hours watching it, you're never going to get those hours back. Those hours that I could spend doing literally anything else. Staring at a wall, whatever. Staring at a wall would have been better than seeing this film called Stowaway. So, Anna Kendrick is an astronaut. Some other people are. Maybe I'll put them on the screen. 3 people are astronauts with Hyperion. And they're on a mission to Mars, which is going to take like, 5 or 6 months to travel there. And then they're going to be there for 2 years. But once they're in space, the commander, who does nothing throughout the film. Okay, so firstly, I think the acting was fine. I think they did the best with what they could with the script. So the commander, a panel that was screwed in, someone falls out of this panel that was screwed in, right? He's the stowaway.
Do you remember what happened on the pad?
I'm a launch support engineer, ma'am. How long was I out?
We took off about 12 hours ago.
12 hours. I need to get back to my sister, please. My sister, she's alone. Please, I gotta get back.
We're not going back.
What do you mean we're not going back? This is a 2-year mission.
That's the basic premise of the film. So already it's stupid because, so the guy was unconscious, right? And he can't remember what happened. He was just unconscious, falls out. He had a concussion. He'd been unconscious for a good 12 hours or something, but then, can walk around and do things fine. Movies always get that wrong. If you've got a concussion or if you've been knocked out for 12 hours, you're not going to be able to help with the maintenance on a ship. So basically, this engineer doing last-minute checks to the rocket ship. Something happened. That's never explained. Gets knocked out. And someone, because the panels were screwed, right? So someone would have had to screw him in. So firstly, doing last-minute inspections on a rocket ship, yeah? Is that a thing? Wouldn't they, because you're going into space. Surely it's more serious than doing some hurried last-minute inspections. But regardless, he gets screwed in. So someone would have seen him knocked out and thought, fuck it, can't bother to deal with this. Screwed him in, sent him off to Mars for 2 years. However, when he falls out of the panel, he damages the CO2 scrubber. Oh no, drama, conflicts, they're not going to, well, they have oxygen, but soon it's going to run out. And the ship can only really have enough oxygen for 2 people at the best of times, but, and there's 4 people. So the commander is, on the phone with mission control being like, what the hell am I going to do? And she's just crying most of the time. And mission control are like, yeah, there's nothing we can do. Now, there's only one CO2. You'd think there would be more than one CO2 scrubber in a rocket ship that's going to take 5 or 6 months to go to fucking Mars. You'd think that. I would think that. You would think that. The screenwriter clearly didn't think that. Apparently NASA has to, for their rockets, they have to have at least 2 to 4 times of everything. You can't just have something that, if it's damaged, you're fucked. You have to have a few spares or whatever. So mission control are just kind of like, we're doing everything we can, but they do fuck all, right? So that's annoying. I actually ended up watching Apollo 13 last night because I've never seen it before, and I know that, I was told that there's a similar kind of plot line in that the CO2 scrubber, or scrubbers, whatever, gets fucked up. So, but you see NASA doing everything they can to help the pilots. We're told in Stowaway that, they're trying to think of everything they can, but we're not shown any of that. So really, it just sounds like they're like, fuck it, I don't care, I'm not paid enough for this. And in Apollo 13, they managed to make a temporary CO2 scrubber using some bits they have in this tiny little rocket and a sock. And the rocket ship, I don't know the first fucking thing about space scares me, or rockets or anything like that. Don't like knowing that stuff. But that rocket ship is loads bigger and has a bunch of random crap in it, like algae that just dies. And you're telling me they couldn't have just tried something, done anything So Mission Control don't really care. They're just kind of like, oh yeah, that Stowaway bloke, well, he needs to die. Don't know how they're just going to shoot him out of the rocket, maybe. And there's a doctor, Anna Kendrick, a biologist, the captain, and the Stowaway on this ship. So the commander tells the biologist, get your algae and let's try to create some oxygen in here. And the guy only has 2 batches, like 2 big batches of his life's work or the last few years' work. I don't know, I'm not going to rewatch the film. But regardless, his life / past few years' work amounts to a bit of algae and then just dies. Like, why wouldn't you just take more to much? It's so useless. This film is stupid and boring. So the biologist dude raids the doctor's cabinet, finds a chemical compound that would kill the Stowaway straight away if he chose to commit suicide. It's basically kind of like, here you go, commit suicide. And the Stowaway, he can't do it. He's got a younger sister who's back on Earth to take care of, blah, blah, blah. At this point in the film, I kind of thought, is it going to take on some horror undertones or even overtones? Is it going to be in our face? Is this Stowaway going to take this pen full of God knows what and stab the biologist? That doesn't happen. People just sit around, not really doing that much. And then Anna Kendrick's character is like, oh, there's that tank all the way, like on this really long cable, like 400-meter cable, and there's some liquid up in that tank, water, maybe just water. Maybe we can siphon some oxygen. Or is that what happened? There's something to do with oxygen in a tank, and then the doctor and the biologist, they decide to climb up, and they only get enough oxygen for 1 cylinder, so like for 1 extra person for the trip. Then a solar storm happens and they have to get back down to the ship, but of course Anna Kendrick kind of slips, and then the cylinder, which wasn't tied on tight enough, flies away. Also, when they're climbing up this long pole, they don't even attach themselves to, they basically, what's it called? Just doing a free spacewalk where they're not attached to anything. So if they let go of this cable, that's it. They're fucked off. They're in space. Bye-bye. See you later. So they go back in the ship. The captain's like, oh no, the storm's going to go on for hours. And what can we do? And the doctor's like, I will go through the storm, get severe enough radiation poisoning that you would die pretty quickly to get the last cylinder of oxygen. Anna Kendrick goes because it's kind of like foreshadowed in this bit where she's telling a story about how she almost drowned to save a stranger's life once. That's foreshadowed. But the biologist, he just lost all of his life or the past few years' work. So he's going to Mars with nothing, to do nothing for 2 years. But oh no, he might go have a kid with his wife, so he can't go. And the Stowaway, he can't use the clamp things properly, so he's not trained for that because he's not really trained to be in space. He doesn't even say thanks, doesn't even say, oh yeah, cheers, you're going to suffer a really bad death for me. Doesn't even say thank you. And the commander, she broke her arm, so she can't go. So Anna Kendrick's character goes up, rescues the oxygen, puts the oxygen back in the ship, like drops it back in the ship. But she's on the outside because it's implied that there's so much radiation, she would maybe irradiate the others and they'd turn into ghouls or something. But then surely that cylinder tube of oxygen would have loads of radiation on it too. Look, I'm not a scientist or an astronaut or an engineer or anything really, but I have played a lot of Fallout. Surely that oxygen tube is, maybe not the oxygen inside, but the outside of it. I mean, the radiation was severe enough that Anna Kendrick's character, she starts like flaking. And I don't know if you guys have seen Chernobyl, which is a really good TV series, but awful ways to die, severe radiation poisoning. Your atoms are splitting, literally splitting. And it's strong enough radiation that she already starts to get scabs and starts to split. And then she dies looking at Mars, and her narrative voiceover says that I always wanted my life to have meaning. And then that's it. That's the end of the film. Do they get to Mars? I don't know. I also don't care. Anna Kendrick's character, okay. Some meaning. You saved like 3 people, one of which can't do anything at Mars. No, 2 of which can't do anything on this mission. This film was so pointless. Plus, if you're going to be travelling on a fucking rocket to Mars, surely the person you want to keep around will be the doctor, just in case any more space calamities happen. What's the biologist who can't even keep his algae alive gonna do? And that's another thing. Algae, like, you ever seen swimming pools? If you leave swimming pools unattended for a week or 2, and algae will start to like prop up everywhere, and he can't keep his algae alive in space. Well, I'm sure he has access to some. Oh, there's not enough bacteria. Okay, you have those vacuum sealed food packs. Just expose that to some air, chuck it in with the algae. You can eat it. It's very clear that I'm not a scientist, but this film is bullshit. I had to look on Reddit to make sure that I wasn't just being opinionated. No, other people didn't enjoy this film either. Some people said maybe this film is a subtle dig at the privatization of space travel, because Hyperion is clearly meant to be like a privatized space company or whatever, and you know how many things can go wrong, yada yada yada. I don't think this film does subtleties. I think subtleties would go over this film's head, so I don't think that's the case. I don't think this film was trying to be smart and tried to be like, look, see, this is what's going to happen to SpaceX. I think this film genuinely thought it was trying to be profound and deep, but really, I just watched absolutely nothing for an hour and a half, almost 2 hours. Absolutely nothing. What was the point of the film? We don't even know if they get to Mars in the end. Oh, what a cliffhanger. Snore. Don't care. Boring. Stay away from this film. You'd think they'd want to answer the basic question of, how did that bloke get screwed into that panel anyway? What's going on there? No, I think the film forgot. It was put there for plot convenience, then the screenwriter clearly forgot. So that's my rating. 2 out of 10. Waste of time. Apollo 13 was based on real events and did it way better. So, also, has anyone else noticed that Tom Hanks is always peeing in films? Why? Apollo 13, Green Mile, probably Big. What other films have Tom? He's been in a lot. I'm sure I'm sure someone's already compiled a list on the internet, probably a crack.com list, like 10 movie scenes in which Tom Hanks just pisses everywhere. Tom Hanks' characters pissing in films has more subtext than Stowaway. There you go. That's the review. If you enjoyed it, do remember to like, comment, subscribe. I make new videos whenever I feel like it. Follow me on Instagram and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!